Hi, folks. Are you wondering how we got into this housing shortage in the first place? We are going to do our best to untangle this mess right after this. Hello, folks. Thanks again for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show. Hard money for real estate investors. We are Carolina Capital Management, and we are lenders for real estate investors in the Southeast. If you're interested in borrowing money, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, then hit the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. And lastly, don't forget to sign up for Wednesdays with Wendy.
Look at Wendy.
It's like she's trying to hide her phone under the desk.
I was booking a Wednesday with
like
Wendy.
She's in class.
That's funny.
So Wendy gives up 30 minutes per person each Wednesday to talk about all things real estate. Book your times now. There's the link because she's booked out a couple of months in advance.
I've talked to about 6 people a day. I also put my gum up underneath the table too while y'all weren't watching.
Mine's there too. Yeah.
Good. Now I have a place to hold my pen.
That's right. That's right.
So another week.
Another day, another dollar.
That's right.
So
are you at a loss for words, Bill?
Yeah,
Because that is really unusual, isn't it?
Let's take note of this.
So we'll get to our ugly question in a minute. Let's do a little breaking news, shall we?
Shall.
Sure.
We need to get him kickstarted.
Every now and again, I'm at a loss for words.
See you in the next 20 years or
That's
so.
right.
Usually it's, can you take a breath, please?
Yes, it is.
So
Well, first
all the
of all,
unemployment.
but first of all, you had a great Rockhill Sub-group meeting last night.
Yeah.
And it's something that people can join by Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to talk about that. Talk about that you're doing the subgroup.
Yeah, so I've been doing the subgroup meeting for, I don't know, somewhere around 5 years. And it's been a great run. And it was time for me to pass the torch to someone who isn't at a loss for words.
Someone who can run faster, like Jonathan.
So Jonathan is taking over for me going forward. I introduced him to the group last night.
Yep.
And again, Jonathan has the same access that we do to really good speakers that are going to help the community. We've had numerous people tell us that Rockhill is a honeypot right now for real estate.
It is.
And while we are invested in Rockhill ourselves, and we prefer not to have the competition, we're not
There's nothing going on.
We don't have a mindset of scarcity. We have a mindset of abundance.
That's right. But
Yeah.
what's important to know too is the group, although it's based in Rockhill, that's where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Zoom. So wherever you're located, you can attend. It's good information for real estate investors.
Yeah. So if you're interested in doing that, you want to get on the list so you can get the link to the Zoom.
Jonathan's list.
Mm-hmm.
Then email Jonathan at carolinahardmoney.com and he'll get you put on the list.
That'd be great.
Jonathan at carolinahardmoney.com.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. We'll have that put in the comment section as well. And speaking of comment section, I left that part out. We have a comment section. It's going to be either on the right-hand side of your screen or underneath, depending on the platform that you're viewing us from. All right. So back to that breaking news.
Sorry about
Tell us,
that.
Bill.
I had to. That was other breaking news.
So unemployment figures came out again. They do it every Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
They come out, and they're lower than the previous week for continuing and new claims. So all that's good. The problem is we still have 9 million some odd jobs available.
And no people to work them.
Yeah.
It's still
There's
just
still-
sorry.
Still 7 million people out of work,
Yeah.
but
And-
they're choosing to be out of work
Yeah.
in most cases.
Yeah. We're looking for a marketing director. We can't find that position.
An accounting associate.
Can't find that position.
Mhm.
And maybe somebody in the loan department. Jonathan needs an assistant.
And-
Please
and by the
calling
way,
all people who want to be Jonathan's assistant.
You know, we had
Would
that,
be great.
Thank you. Yeah.
we had a lot of people saying that there was 21 states that stopped giving out the extra unemployment money,
Mhm.
and they assumed that would pick
Make
up.
people go to work.
It turns
right?
out it hasn't done much. It hasn't raised the employment rates
Right.
in those areas very much. So it really wasn't much of a incentive.
Maybe people are just inherently lazy.
How, do you know that? And you may not. I don't know this. I was just
There's a lot
curious.
of people who've just gotten out of the work.
Montana, because Montana actually, instead of just not giving out the extra money, they actually converted that into a bonus to get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder
great
what,
idea.
what their numbers look
And
like.
you
I don't
had
know
to-
offhand.
I think you had to stay in the job for a year before you got it. Or something.
Is that what it was? Okay.
And Montana is beautiful. I just got back from there. Great trip.
So all 12 people have a job. All right, don't be hating on me, Montana
No,
people.
I know
Montana's
someone's
awesome.
going to leave
We
this
love
show.
it.
I
Bill,
was going to
Gorgeous.
say that's right. But we're not going to say anything about California. No, Montana is just a beautiful state. It was
It really
an
is.
awesome, awesome trip. Beautiful places.
More breaking news because of what's going on in Afghanistan. Something that flew under the radar on Friday was that the national tax, I forget what they're called, national tax something or another. Anyway, they put out the statistics for the number of Americans that are paying taxes. And
like paying into taxes. Yeah.
it turns out that 61% of the country is not paying any taxes at all.
Like by
60
choice or
It didn't say by choice. It just says only six. It says that 61% of the country is not paying any taxes.
federal income tax? Is that what
Yes.
you're referring to? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it could be because they're not working.
It's disturbing that they didn't pay any tax in 2020.
Yeah.
What's disturbing about this is that when you have more people not paying taxes than are paying taxes, and then you continue to
They'll just print money. We'll be okay.
whine about the rich not paying their fair share.
Mhm.
Who is paying their fair share? If 61% aren't paying at all.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And here's really the biggest problem is if you're not invested, you don't care, right?
Yeah.
That's why entrepreneurs do so well, is because they're invested in their company.
Yeah.
If you have team members, employees, whatever, and they have a bonus base. This is why I always thought that everyone should be paid commission.
Yeah.
Now,
You got to eat what you kill.
It's very difficult to come up with a commission plan for, let's say, a receptionist or someone that answers the phone or whatever. But everyone in the organization should be invested somehow with some sort of profit sharing in order for them to have the incentive to do their best.
Now, are we set up that way, Bill?
Not all of us. Seriously.
Yeah,
I
not
know.
all of
I
us.
agree. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
just
that,
saying
when
it's
you're
hard-
saying that, be
It's
careful
hard
what
to
you say.
structure. I'm not being careful. It's hard to structure it.
It is, but if it's based off of profit year over year,
Yeah.
Customer service, you
So,
send out surveys
what-
and things like that.
My point here is, what's the incentive for the people to vote for holding down taxes when you're not paying it?
Right.
When the majority aren't paying it,
Yeah.
but the majority is voting it to raise it for other people,
Yeah.
how is that fair?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
kinda
that's
weird.
that is interesting, isn't it? It's a good point.
But it makes you wonder why they're not paying taxes. How are they falling through the cracks? How are they hopping into the loopholes You know, what's been
Well, I
put out
think-
there.
What percentage of the population is living at or
Below poverty.
below the poverty line? You
Mhm.
know, stuff like that.
Okay,
you
so
know.
a lot of the incentive money was tax-free.
Mm,
So they're probably including a lot of that.
yeah.
But then there's a lot of people that maybe they didn't file taxes because all the unemployment that they were getting, they didn't think they owed it. But
Yeah,
guess
that's
what?
a good point. That's going to sneak up
They do owe it.
pretty quickly.
So the drug dealers don't pay taxes. I don't know. Do the pharmaceutical companies pay taxes?
Actually,
They probably don't.
and who put that up?
Well, apparently,
came from
a
us.
escape
Oh. So, by the way, that's how they get you. You're required to pay tax on the profit for your ill-gotten gains. And if they can't catch you for your ill-gotten gains, they can catch you for not paying taxes on them.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll get you one way or the other.
So, where are we now? All right, Supreme Court ruling.
Yes, on the.
And thank you, Randy, for sending us that article. You know, what was it? A 7?
You can just read it.
I'm not reading it. I'm going to touch on it. I think it was a 6-3 ruling.
Bill's feeling a little
Yeah,
sassy
it is.
today.
It's in the very
Yeah.
first 3 words. A 6-3 decision was made in the Supreme Court.
I can't hear good. You read it. So basically, they're saying that the CDC does not have the authority to have a
Ban
moratorium
on foreclosures.
no,
And evictions.
evictions,
Yeah.
which we all knew.
Yeah. Gosh, what a surprise.
Yeah.
And the administration is still fighting this. This is totally unfair. They're just going about it the wrong way. I get people need help, but instead of taking one group of people and making them responsible to pay for everyone else.
And when you say one group, you're talking about landlords.
Yeah, especially most houses are owned, you know, four houses or less, right?
Well, it's 5 or less, and I think it's what 50% or more own 5 or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it fair for small businesses to bear the brunt?
Well,
of
their
this?
rebuttal
When-
on this is that they want to disperse funds to the landlords to help pay
Right.
for the rents that aren't getting paid. But the problem is they don't have a good system in place to disperse the funds in the first
Well,
place.
Like to me, it's just like, why on earth would you need a moratorium on evictions if you just sent the money to the landlords for the rents?
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
There's no here's
That's
What's the thought
right. They
process?
still should be able to get
Sec-
kicked out if they're
Section
not.
8 works very
behaving.
well. Why not have those people apply for relief, and then that money is sent to the landlord?
But the problem is how do you get them to apply for relief? They're not doing it. The system that's put in place is not.
That's my point.
Yeah, it's not set
keep
up
the
right.
evictions in place, and now they have an incentive to
Well, that's a
apply
good
for
point.
the relief.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
You have maybe a 60-day, kind of leeway thing there.
Yeah,
That you
give them
have-
some time frame to do it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you
But then they're going to assume that everybody that's getting ready to be
And you
evicted can't read or write, and how are they going to apply for it, and blah blah blah. Which
Yeah, well, they have
absolutely is
agencies
not
for
the
that.
case. Yeah.
That said, it is an efficient way of
yeah,
doing it.
39% of people are paying for those agencies to do that.
Yeah.
There are, and I'm sorry we're turning this into a bitch fest.
Yeah.
But
But that's what we want to do today.
I've just about had it. Is what it is.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm tired of the partisan on both sides. I'm doing it this way because this is the way I'm going to do it instead of listening to everyone and
Yeah.
coming up with a logical solution.
That would work for everybody. Yeah.
So back in the Obama administration, and I haven't told anybody this, but 2008, 2007, most of you already know my story, how I was out of a job at 50 years old, middle management. My income went down to 25% of what it was. I had
And
a
it was the
wife
lending business.
that hadn't worked in 13 years that needed to get a job, and she went to work in a factory, and I was ready to lose my house. I applied for the Obama funds to help protect me from losing my house. 50% of the people that went through that program never had their homes foreclosed on. And what they did was they paid your mortgage, if you qualified, they paid your mortgage for 6 months to go ahead and get you out of problems so you can get back on your feet. And it worked for us, and it was a great thing. It was also a second lien on your property, so you couldn't turn around and sell your property for a profit, which was not a problem in 2000.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2008, 2009. You weren't doing that.
Nobody was going to sell for a profit anyway.
Yeah.
But that said, that was a very efficient program. It's not the states or the federal government's program fault that only 50% of the people that went through the program actually did not end up getting foreclosed on at some point.
So what you're saying is the government program went and paid the states, well, or whomever. Let's just say where it ends up to the mortgage company directly for someone's mortgage. So in that same breath, you could say, man, wouldn't logic dictate that we pay the landlords directly?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it the same way. They're giving that money to the states in block grants to set these things up, but the states aren't doing it right now.
Yeah, they're doing a miserable job of
Don't know
getting it
why.
out.
They did it fine with the homeowners things, but they're not doing it with the landlords.
I know some of the people were saying, like, they have to provide balance sheets, profit and loss statements, all this stuff, like for the landlords to apply. And I'm telling you, if you own 4 or 5 properties, you probably don't even know what a balance sheet is.
That's exactly right. There's a lot of them that don't.
Well, I understand why they're doing it, because it's really easy to rip off the government, and there are some stupid people that actually think they're going to get away with it.
Yeah. Well, they could show a lease. They can show a bank statement.
Yeah. No, eventually they're going to get caught. As a matter of fact, I saw last night where this couple built the U.S. government for $15 million in PPP funds.
Wow.
And they were caught. But recently they've removed their ankle bracelets, and they ran off with $2 million of the ill-gotten gains, and they're still looking for them. So anyway, it does happen. I understand why they want all this information. They want to prove that there's actually tenants in there and that they're paying.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got leases in place. You show somebody's address on the utility bills. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, they were talking about knocking door to door to make sure people are vaccinated. Why don't we just repurpose those people door to door to make, is there a tenant in there? All right, let's do this.
All right.
That
So
Here, look at this, the realtor.com, the hottest zip codes that are growing. Did you want to talk about that? So realtor.com released its latest hottest zip codes of 2021 report.
With a hard H, hottest.
Hottest.
Yeah.
And based on their metrics, which nobody really knows what it is, but so number 1 is Colorado Springs, Colorado. Number 2 is West Irondequoit. And I have never heard of that place. Anyway, it's in New York. Peabody, Massachusetts, another well unknown place. Manchester, New Hampshire, and Brentwood, North Carolina, Brentwood, North Carolina is number 5, and that's just outside of Raleigh.
Little bedroom community.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting that there's some Northeast, 2 New Yorks, a New York, a New Hampshire, and a Massachusetts. Is that? Yeah, that's Massachusetts. And then, of course, Colorado out west. I'm surprised that they're from that area up there in the
Northeast.
Yeah. Pleasantly surprised.
Well, a lot of these
people up there
are the suburbs of the
larger towns,
larger populous areas
right.
that people are trying to get away from.
Yeah. Hey, that's a great way to look at it, Bill.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed that you came up with that so quickly.
Wow. I get all this great credit. Okay.
It looks like it's time for
enough of our breaking bitch fest news.
Yeah.
Let's do our ugly question. So now we have 3.5 minutes to go over our ugly question.
Well,
excellent.
It's been a long time on that. What was it?
So the ugly question is, how did we get in to this shortage in the first place? This
housing shortage.
Please see the first 20 minutes of this show.
Well,
there you
to be honest, it goes back to 2007 2007 and 8, when we had the housing crash. Guess what? There wasn't a lot of houses being built.
No, I mean, yeah, builders, everyone walked away. They, most of them had, filed bankruptcy.
Mhm.
So like housing
They
starts.
consolidated.
Yeah, housing starts between 2009 and probably 2016 were half of what they are
Plus
now.
the banks aren't easy to borrow from. If you're a builder,
Well,
no matter what size you are, it's not really easy to borrow for
let me
developments
back
anymore.
this up a little too. What happened to all the people that were in the construction industry?
They filed bankruptcy.
Well, they moved on to something else.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get skilled labor back, especially when they don't have certainty that it will continue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people just got out of the business altogether. I laughed. I mean, it was sad, but I laughed when one of the paid technical schools, right in the middle of the crash, finally started touting their general contractor studies.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were a little behind.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that really is the problem. Even if you wanted to ramp up, you can't, because you don't have the skilled labor to do it. Now what we've gotten is we've gone through 10 years of them not building enough.
Well, and the thing was that went through 10 years of not building enough, but we had enough foreclosures and housing inventory for fix and flips and other kind of repositioning. It wasn't, I mean, it's always been a problem. It wasn't as big of a problem. Now that fix and flip inventory, that low hanging fruit, isn't as much there anymore.
Plus,
But
they're all going to college now for big white collar jobs, and nobody's in the trades anymore.
All right. So what didn't
That's
change?
everything.
What didn't change through that time?
Our salaries.
Zero.
What didn't change was the creation of new households.
Yeah.
So while we weren't building any new homes and we were busy fixing up the old homes,
Mhm.
which means we're not adding anything to the inventory, because
Correct.
we're not keeping up with the formation of households.
Yeah,
Most
people
people
continue to be born.
most people were, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most people were.
But since 1970, our fertility rate is down like 70-some%.
I'm not sure.
As a nation.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable talking on that topic.
We'll talk
do
later
more
about
research.
fertility rates.
Yeah. We got to wrap it up though, Bill. We got to move on.
I was asked.
That's probably a contributor to the fertility rate
Yeah.
decline.
Bill talking.
No, wrapping it.
Well, I was asked one.
Hey, that was really funny, Jonathan.
I was asked once what I did about birth control, and I said I typically rely on my personality for that. So
Well said, my friend.
we got into the housing shortage. It started
Oh, I
back
thought we
in
were
2007, 2008, and we just not been able to catch up since then. By the way, Brian always has great comments too. Number of people turning 33 has
been increasing year over year and will continue for the next few years. Average first-time home buyer is
33.
Yeah.
Well said, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it takes them till they're 33 to pay off most of the student debt,
Or to
and,
move out of
and
my
then have
house.
enough income as their income increases, because unlike they think when they get out of college, they don't deserve the corner office as soon as they get a job. It takes a while to move up the ranks.
Yeah. We actually hired somebody like that. That was very interesting. It didn't last long.
You weren't talking about me, right?
No,
So
you're over that.
what are Jonathan? What are we doing to help with
Housing?
the shortage in new construction?
Yeah. So our biggest push is for affordable housing. I mean, we have created, I like the word mandate. It goes around a lot today. We have created a mandate for ourselves to create a lot of affordable housing. We are doing, I think we did a video on it before, but we're finishing up a 44 townhome development in Augusta, Georgia. All those townhomes will be priced under or right at 180.
Great price point.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And to be clear, we're not doing anything to them. We're just financing.
We're lending.
Yeah,
money.
we're just lending the money. So
yeah,
we give preference to affordable housing.
Yes.
Because we believe that people need an affordable place to live. We want people to be homeowners. We want people to have rentals. We want everyone to be successful. And affordable housing, and Bill says it well, whether it's your first home or you're scaling down or you're an investor, these affordable houses they work for everybody.
Yeah.
So that one project in Augusta, we have another project in Clemson, or just outside Clemson. We have a couple projects here in Rockhill.
And then the majority of our single family short-term fix and flip loans, the after repaired value of those are under 300, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, if we took the average, let me see what it is. It'd be 230 would be our average price point or value of the home.
And to be clear, to help keep homes affordable, I know Scott's saying, can they afford the house? Well, you have to keep them affordable by
if they go to
keeping
work,
the price down. But we are more than happy to take a look at new double wides.
Right.
The hybrid, they call them
modular off-frame.
What is it called? Cross modular, where
Cross wide.
they still are.
Like that.
They still have steel underneath the frame, but they bring them out, and then you can add garages and stuff while it's there. So you're site building the garages and some other amenities.
Yeah, even tiny houses.
They look just like regular homes.
Yeah,
that's true.
They look
tiny
like
and
so
then modular homes.
We love doing rental loans. We have a long-term rental product for people who want to finance investor rental loans. But one of the things that Wendy, Bill, and I we really believe in is like we don't want everyone or the majority of the country or whatever it is like to what's the quote rent and be happy.
Yeah.
So we want people to own property. Like having a 30-year mortgage has been one of the best drivers for building personal wealth over time, generational wealth.
Yeah.
And we want everyone to have that opportunity.
Right. All right. Well said. Well said.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a loan,
I'll get to that in a minute.
we got to wrap it up. Scott's going like this.
All right, folks. Thank you so much. I hope that kind of gives you an idea of where the shortage has started. And oh, by the way, it's continued thanks to the pandemic.
Correct.
Because people can work remotely. They're willing to move out a little bit further. That said, there's still plenty of people that still want to rent, but they want to rent in a single family, not necessarily an apartment. So it's been really high demand for single family housing in a lot of areas and further out from the center of town. So don't forget about our show coming up at 1 o'clock. We have our friend Jake Vanderslice coming on. He is in the self-storage industry and they are just killing it. So we're going to talk to him about is now a good time to invest in real estate.
And if you're interested in conventional lending, Brian Maddox, if he's still on here, Brian, I want you to put your contact information in there because Brian is a great source if you're interested in.
And do it now before the show ends. So it will be on the notes when it's permanently in there.
Yeah.
And then also go back to the Rockhill Sub-group. The next group meeting, it's always the first Wednesday of every month. So it'll be October the 1st. And we're going to be analyzing a couple deals. So everyone can go in and do underwriting and due diligence alongside me and maybe a few others.
Right. And that's Joe Nathan at carolinahardmoney.com. And great. There's Brian's information.
Thanks,
as
Brian.
well.
As well, in November, we have Paul Olson coming on, a guy that we've known for years and years. Started off in a neighborhood in Charlotte where the homes were like $70,000. He's now in the middle of doing I think 3 townhomes.
Yeah,
and it's like in the $1.8 million range.
Really high end.
I was telling Bill, I remember I think it was one of the first homes that I walked with you all when I was
one of his?
Was buying notes from you. Was his because he had those was the
butcher block
countertops.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's great. It
that's
looks good.
Right. He was one of the first.
Yeah.
That's right. Awesome.
All right. thank you, folks. Thanks again for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show, Hard Money for Real Estate Investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. And if you are interested in borrowing money,
tell all your friends.
Go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, then click on the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. And again, don't forget to sign up for Wednesday with Wendy. The link is right there in the side. And yes, Brian is a rock star. Thank you, Randy. Have a great day. See you at 1 o'clock.